I think that is the exact point, Leland. The party that wins is the party that gets the focus onto its favoured subject. For Republicans, that clearly is immigration and migration. I think that's part of the reason why we saw that news conference. Migration is basically President Biden's worst issue. So the White House wants to, frankly, avoid talking about that if they can do so.
You think about the president's poll numbers right now. He needs everything he can to change the conversation, if you will. This is the Real Clear Politics average, which means the latest polls are actually below this. We're going to get to those in a few minutes. But he is now, for the first time in his presidency, below 45%. How worried is the White House that they just need a win?
Well, ostensibly, the White House will tell you that they understand that poll numbers fluctuate. President Biden has been in politics for many decades and understands that. But look, the stakes for what is happening on Capitol Hill right now are huge. The Biden administration has essentially all the chips on the table when it comes to its domestic agenda, and they really need a win in that because of several things that have gone wrong recently.
Yeah, you think about, namely, Afghanistan and then obviously immigration. Conceivably, there's that new crisis coming. We've got this sort of interim crisis, which is the debt ceiling. Here was Jen Psaki earlier. I know you saw the briefing. Take a listen.
Even the scant details that have been reported present more complicated, more difficult options than the one that is quite obvious in the president's view and is in front of the faces of every member up on the Hill. We could get this done today. We don't need to kick the can. We don't need to go through a cumbersome process that every day brings additional risks.
Do Democrats really think, in the White House, really think they're going to win on the debt ceiling when they control the House, the Senate, and the White House?
It's interesting that there's actually a Democratic divide on this topic, Leland. Democratic senators are actually fine with kicking the can down the road, it appears. They look poised to seize upon an offer from Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader in the Senate, to lift the ceiling for a couple of months. That is very much at odds with the tone that Jen Psaki just took there, where she was complaining about that idea.
So I'll go back to sort of where we started, which is you've got a president with falling poll numbers and now a divided Democratic Party on the debt ceiling and on the president's domestic agenda. And they think, the White House thinks heading into negotiations in that way is helpful, is going to work. What's the plan?
I don't know if they consider it as helpful or not, but they want the president to try to position himself as someone who is transcending these Democratic divisions. They're trying to paint him as the person who can bring the party together. Now, is it possible to bring Bernie Sanders and Joe Manchin or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and some of the House moderate Democrats together? That's a pretty tough ask, but that's what the White House is betting on.
Has there been the discussion yet of we just need a win, it kind of doesn't matter what it is, and that maybe they decide to go talk to Republicans and try to get bipartisan infrastructure passed by itself, in some way be the elder statesman that the president's talked about?
There is a desire to get a win of some description, but I think because of everything that has gone on, the idea of a bipartisan infrastructure bill seems to be sort of slipping away. It has become so tethered to the idea of the larger social spending package. So in that regard, I think the White House is desperate for a win, but I think it understands that that victory, if it comes, will come almost entirely along party lines.
Yeah, we were just looking at the 10 governors at the border who no doubt enjoy having the attention of the crisis on the border rather than the crises in D.C. Niall, great conversation as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Leland.
Yeah, great to see you.